Okay, we're on stage 2. Since we've been away, patience is a virtue, I must tell you with this phone. Okay, we have fried off the mushrooms with a little bit of rapeseed oil, and I've put some herbs in there, like we put the thyme in there and a bit of basil I've cut up. And fry that off until it goes soft, and then add in the porcini mushrooms that we had earlier, and it makes it really nice. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start getting this to fry off in a second. Now, I've used a big flat base. This is actually a paella dish, which works just as fine, really. And I forgot to say earlier that what I wanted to say was to have 50 grams of Parmesan cheese. It has to be fresh and it has to be grated. But as you can see, it's very nice indeed. So when this hurries up and starts frying, what we're going to do is we're going to fry this off, and then we're going to add in the rice. But for the moment, we just need to wait. I've also put the stock on. The stock's on a low heat, so that it can keep at a simmer, because what you don't want to do is you don't want the stock to go cold again, because if the stock starts going cold, then when you go to ladle it in, it doesn't cook the rice as fast. You just end up having it really slow. So what I might do is I might move us over to this one if it doesn't start doing in a second. This is the thing we're doing. Oh no, it is getting hot. This is the thing we're doing videos sometimes. It's like doing things live. It never can always go to plan. It sometimes can go a bit wrong. Now, like I said earlier, it's 115 grams per person. So this works out at 220 grams for 2 people. The stock, I would say, is probably around, like I said, a litre, 1.8, just so that you can start getting it ready. And now, I prepare everything early because I like to get my stuff done early. I'm quite an early person. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fry this off a little bit more. And then I'm going to add in the rice. And you want to coat the rice in everything so it all mixes in. Now, when it gets a little bit hotter as well, you're going to see that let me move me over to here, because I think it's going to be a lot easier over here than it is on that one. Move us over to this one, because it's not going fast enough, is it? Not what we want at all. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to start cooking your rice. Now, the rice, when it starts getting hot, it will go almost like a opaque colour. Not clear, but opaque enough. I always add a little bit more olive oil or rapeseed oil in, only because I like it. And now you can hear it sizzling. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fry it off just for a little while longer. The trick is with this is you don't want it to burn. If it burns, then it's going to be, the rice isn't great. It's just burnt rice basically. So you can keep moving it around. When we start doing it, like pouring in the stock and everything like that, you need to be on the ball, because when you add in the stock, it's little by little, but you have to make sure that your rice isn't burning. Now, risotto rice, some people say stir, some people say don't stir. I prefer to stir, because it makes all the glutens start reacting, and it makes it almost like creamy. And this is why sometimes you don't need to put anything else in it. But at the end, obviously I'll put a little bit of butter in the end, because that makes it just as nice as everything else. So, okay, risotto. So as you can see, if Gary can start coming in a bit closer, you can see that some of the rice is going a little bit more clearer. This means the rice is cooking. This is really important stage to do this before you start putting any stock in. If you've just loaded the stock in before, the rice hasn't properly had time to cook. and once that starts happening, you're not going to get a good risotto at all. So this was a lady from Italy, she taught me this. She said to just put a dash of it in. Well, I say a dash, I say the bottle. There you go. So this is the base of what it's going to be. So if you leave that just for a second, that's going to all come together nicely because it's going to all soak in. And as well, it gives it a little bit of time for the stock, for the wine to burn off. Now, people say, oh, okay, burning it off, it's still gonna taste of wine. It does, but you don't have the alcohol in it. And for people that don't like alcohol, it's fine. Like I said before, just if you want to add a tiny bit of the stock in that I've used before, that's perfectly fine. You know, it's all here. I always say recipes are for tweaking. So if you don't like one thing in it, like some people might not like as much garlic as I do, but I love garlic, so I put lots of garlic in. But so now we're going to start putting the ladles in. So you want to make sure it's just covering. I'm so messy when it comes to cooking. Normally Gary's like, he comes home and it's a bomb site, so I actually do quite well really on these demos because I'm normally quite prepared. Okay, so we're gonna leave that for a moment, and I am just gonna go and get a wipe so we can wipe this kitchen. But hopefully this is nice and you're gonna try it all, because I really do love risotto. It's such a nice dish and it's so easy for when you've got people coming round. You can just easily do it, and it doesn't, okay, you've got to kind of stay with it, but you can put whatever you want in it. You can put from anything, like from prawns to, you know, you can even just do a vegetarian dish, which is also just as nice. But I always at this stage put a little bit of salt and pepper in it. So I know you're going to say, oh, well, you've got the stock in there as well. You have got the stock in there, but remember, seasoning is key as well. You don't want an under-seasoned risotto. Ew, that is not nice. Okay, so sometimes I leave it a little bit just to cook, and other times I leave it. Oh, there's a big bit of garlic in there. I can see that. I'll be eating that, wouldn't I, Gary? Okay, so if you have a look at the mushrooms as well, I'm going to use my fingers, but you can see the porcini mushrooms, how soft they are now from what they were before. This is because there was a little bit more juice in it and it's kept it going. Now, this will reduce down, and then you're going to add in the next layer and the next ladle until finally you've got your risotto. Now, this is what I said about being patient with your risotto. At least you can have a drink and you can talk to people while you're doing it, but sometimes it just feels like, I find it quite relaxing. Like if you've had like a bad day at work or whatever like that, obviously don't beat the risotto, but you can relax and you can just generally just stir it and go into kind of like a world of your own, which I like to do anyway. It might just be me, but I like that. So I was leaving the risotto over there, but I think I might need a little bit more in a second. You can see here now where the rice is soaking up all of the stock. You want it to kind of start soaking up just a tiny bit more, because if it doesn't and you put more liquid on it, it's not going to soak it up, which it does before. But I like risotto. Risotto kind of comes from the north, which it was a peasant dish actually, and but it was once the rich started kind of eating it, like all things, they start eating it, and then everybody starts and jumps on the bandwagon. But actually it was a peasant dish, and they would have it to fill them up for the whole day, because obviously it was a rice dish, and they would fill whatever they could with it. But they were lucky if they had chickens or livestock or something like that. You'd be okay, because you could generally fill it up. But for some people it was just the bare basics really. And with risotto as well, you should always cook it so that it's got a bite to it. In Italian it's called, you know, it means tooth to bite, so you can always give it a try. It's called al dente. Al dente means tooth to bite. So I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. Okay. Okay, so I'm putting my last ladle of stock in. I've done 4 to 5 ladles of stock, and it's just coming together. Now, if you feel like you need to turn the heat up, but I wouldn't say to a boil, because as you can probably see, mine is becoming really creamy, and this is how it should look. You shouldn't have to put cream in it, but some people do, because they like a little bit more of a creamier dish. Me, I put a tiny bit of butter in, but okay. So you want to put the mushrooms in, and the porcini mushrooms, and this is going to give it a lot of flavour as well. So pop that in, and we're going to give it a good mix. I don't know about Gary, but I can't wait to eat this. Okay, so mix this together, and as you can see, it's all coming more together with each other. It's not so like it was before. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the Parmigiano in. We call it Parmigiano. It's actually Parmesan cheese. And when you go to taste the rice, you'll know when it's done, because it will have a bite to it, but it won't be chalky. So if it's chalky, it's not done yet, which won't be nice. So pop your chicken in, and like I said, I'm quite a messy cook. I'm not a very clean cook, so bunging it all in is just what I do. I have got a page on Facebook with Cooking with Yanny as well, so it's the same page, has kind of the same videos on it, but it has more of the recipes, what's in it. So if you want to go on there, you can, and it will give you a bit more of an idea as well on that one. Okay, so I'm going to add just a tiny bit more Parmigiano in. Put that to the side. Now, good Italian always use a bit of butter, so I would say probably about a tablespoon of butter, and then mix it in. This makes your risotto nice and shiny and just beautiful. Okay, now I have been seasoning throughout, so this should have enough seasoning in it, but if you'd like to put a little bit more pepper in, you can. Like I said, I don't like a risotto that doesn't taste of anything, so my food has to taste of something. So pop that in. You'll get quite a lot of flavour from the cheese as well, so that'd be quite nice. Okay, so take this off the heat. Just going to take that out of the way. Take it off the heat, and there you go. That is a chicken and mushroom risotto. If you like my video, please subscribe and press the like button. Thank you very much. Bye, coquettes.